All right, we are recording. We are live. Happy to be here today with Nate from freeup.com. And I believe we are going live. Let's see where we're going to do this on my timeline. Bingo, there we are. Everything should be happening. And let me do a quick check-in. Stephanie, are you seeing us live on Facebook? Okay, it'll be coming up in a minute. So welcome everybody to this webinar today with the fabulous Nate. When did we meet? Was it about a year and a half ago?
Yeah, at CEO Space. It must have been over a year ago.
Yep. And, you know, it's funny, too, because I was just speaking with one of our higher level coaching groups the other day and saying to them, you've got to be patient with relationships. You know, we've known each other and we knew we were going to play together and work together, but it takes a little bit of time for those pieces of the puzzle to fit, right?
Definitely. And sometimes, I mean, I have people that I talk to and they're at a very early part of their business and years later their business is booming and they come back and we figure out a way to help each other and vice versa. I've had people that I've reached out to as mentors and I haven't really needed them yet, but it's been great to connect. And then years later, I come across them and I reach out and you kind of reconnect again.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's kind of like trusting the process and always showing up to be of service, get out there and make a difference. Which is what you are doing. So let's jump into the conversation about how to hire and use virtual assistants. And I want to encourage everybody out there. I've got the fabulous Stephanie supporting us. So if you've got questions, go ahead and put them in the comment. Share this with people you know, because the number one struggle I see my clients, everyone in our community suffering with, and I mean suffering, is having too much to do, not enough help. They don't think they can afford it. And then you get stuck at this level and you can't boom to the growth that you really desire and deserve.
Exactly. So how many of you out there have hired someone before, whether it's remote or internal? I'd love to kind of see that in the comments. I want to kind of take a step back while you guys do that and just talk about the gig economy right now. For those of you that don't know, the gig economy is this whole new group of people that are working for themselves. They're working remotely. They're offering their services, whether it's hourly or fixed price. It could be outsourcing people in the Philippines and India. It could be people in the US who are doing copywriting or graphic design, or people who are running MIDI agencies and marketing agencies. So there's such a vast different types of those virtual assistants, freelancers, remote workers, whatever you want to call them. And over the next 10 years, over 50% of the remote workforce is going to end up being remote. That's right, 50%. It's pretty crazy. So if you're a business owner out there and you're not taking advantage of what the remote gig economy has to offer, your competitors are, and you're really missing out on what is such a great benefit, not only for the freelancers, but for the clients. So on the client side, the normal way that you would hire people back in the day is you'd look at your town or the towns around you. You'd look for someone who could work 40 hours a week. They'd have to drive to work every week. You're paying them full time, all the benefits that go with that. You're kind of stuck with them. You're investing a lot of time and energy into one person. After going through those applicants, you almost have to cross your fingers because if they don't work out, you're kind of starting all over. It's not like you're hiring them for a 2-hour test. You're hiring them full time to get started, and It takes them a while to get acclimated. And from the freelancer side, they would have one employer. They would have someone who they work 40 hours a week for. If that person fires them, they're back out on the street looking for another employer. They're really not as productive. They do a lot of things that they might not be talented in, not specialized in. We all know the busy work that ends up in a day-to-day operation, not to mention the time driving to work, the gas cost, all that. So there's such a big benefit from a business owner getting access to talent all over the world, being able to hire people for one-time or projects here and there, part-time, giving them tests, lots of different price points ranging from $5 an hour to fixed price monthly projects. And from the freelancer side as well, they get to grow their Rolodex. So for those of you out there that have said that they've hired before, I want to know how many of you have made a bad hire before. You guys can post that in there while I keep going.
Oh, I might have some of my former hires watching.
So to put it in perspective, the gig economy is booming right now, and I encourage people to take advantage of what it is. There's so much great talent out there, and the fact of the matter is hiring is tough. No one has a 100% hiring record. You're going to make mistakes along the way. It can be frustrating at times, but the alternative is you give up hiring and your business is just going to stall out at some point. There are very few $3 million, $4 million, $10 million companies out there that are solo entrepreneur operations. They really don't exist. If you want to get your business to the next level, you have to hire people, and you have to hire people well. And it's one of those things that they don't teach you in school. There's no class on how to hire people. There's very few classes on how to manage people. So it is one of the key parts of being an entrepreneur. You can't do everything, and you can't learn how to do everything. So today I kind of want to open you up to the remote hiring world, what FreeUp has to offer, but also what I've learned through my time in the remote hiring world, which has been one of the best experiences that I could have imagined. So a quick step back, I started my first multi-million-dollar business when I was in college. I was 21 years old. I had started this baby drop shipping business really just by trial and error, trying different things.
Wait a minute, you drop shipped babies?
Baby products. I'm
like, I want one.
Good catch. So I'm this young entrepreneur. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm totally overwhelmed. My social life is going down the tube. I'm working 20 hours a day, balancing college, and no one wants to work for me, right? Like what 35-year-old out there that's a marketing expert wants to work for a 21-year-old who's figuring stuff out? So I was really turned on to the remote world by necessity. It was my only choice if I wanted to get access to talent. And one of my first hires worked out great. She still works with me today. She runs our freelancer recruitment team. And I thought, man, this is easy. I can post a job, hire someone, and they're going to be incredible. They're going to free up my time. But I proceeded to make bad hire after bad hire after bad hire, which wasted my time, wasted my money, wasted my energy. And it had me really focused on the process, because I realized at the end of the day, I can't control everything that happens. You can do everything right and still end up with a bad result at the end. But the only thing that you can do is continue to refine that process that you use to actually add people to your team or to add people to help you hire. And I want to kind of walk you through that process that I use even today. I mean, freelancers last week billed me 800 hours. So I really do practice what I preach. I only hire freelancers within the FreeUp marketplace, and I use this 5-step process. So the first step is I identify everything that I want to take off my plate. I get away from my business, get away from my computer, and create a list with my business partner of all the things I'm doing. And I have what I call the 3-month rule. I don't want to do anything longer than 3 months without taking it off my plate and passing it over to someone else. And
ooh, I like this. I have to take notes because I know there's gold in here. So.
And that might change depending on where you are in your business. That might not be realistic, or there's certain things that I do for 3 weeks before I take them off my plate. But for the most part, I don't want to do anything longer than 3 months. So that first list needs to be everything you do on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis. And you want to prioritize it from easiest to hardest, especially if you've never hired remotely before, because it's going to be trial and error. It's going to be learning, and you want to start with those easy things, or the things that you just don't like to do, because what's the point of being an entrepreneur if you're constantly spending hours in your day doing things that you don't like? Mm-hmm. So first list, everything you do on a day-to-day basis. The second list, and this is one of the most powerful lists, is everything you're not good at. And you have to do some self-reflecting here. One of the best activities that my business partner, Connor, and I did back in the day when we were stepping on each other's toes, the business wasn't growing anymore, we had to kind of figure this out, is for 2 hours out on a balcony, we're brutally honest at each other. We said, you're good at this, you're bad at this, back and forth, and wrote everything down.
Wow.
And we hit each other to the gut, like brutally honest stuff that we decided not to take it personally before we started, but the average person would have taken a lot of it personally. So the cool thing is what happened at the end is we had these 2 lists of things we were bad at, and we realized, or things that we were good at, and we realized that we complemented each other very well. So we'd be great business partners, and that was great. But we also had this list of everything that we were both bad at. Yet we were doing them every single day, every single week, ongoing. So what we decided to do was turn these weaknesses into strengths. Let's hire people to come in and that are really good at what they do and take those things over and take them off our plate, because we're reasonably smart people, and I'm sure a lot of you out there are incredibly smart people. And you could spend the next 6 months learning how to be Facebook ad experts. You could spend the next 6 months learning how to build a website on WordPress on a high level. But as an entrepreneur, that's not a great use of your time. You want to be focused on your competency and what you're good at. If anyone has any questions on that or comments, I'll pause for a second. But that's really step one, is coming up with those 2 lists, everything, the day-to-day stuff you want to get off your plate, and all your weaknesses that long-term you want to be able to turn into strengths in order to take your business to the next level.
All right, so let's check in. We got lots of people on with us on Facebook. Any questions about these first 2 phases? Let me ask you this, because first of all, the first thing that popped in my mind is me sitting with my 2 sisters and having this brutally honest conversation. But what if you don't have a business partner? How do how can we get to that place?
Yeah, you really have to figure out what you're not good at. And one of the things that I do is, and we'll talk about this more later, I have a constant feedback loop. I love feedback from everyone. That doesn't necessarily mean every piece of feedback I get, I implement instantly, but I still want to hear it all the time. And that's with clients, that's with mentors or people that I run into at CEO space. I want it when I presented there, I got brutally honest feedback about how my presentation went. To the freelancers in my network, in your case, people that you work with around you. I mean, one of the best pieces of feedback that I got was when someone had quit on me. I had invested 3 months into hiring someone, training them, getting them up, and they left and they quit. And right before they left, I asked them for an exit interview. And if you want to talk about uncomfortable, an exit interview is about as uncomfortable as you can get.
Yeah.
So we sat across the table from each other, and he just went at me. Everything that was wrong with me as a manager, as a leader, with the culture of my company, with things he had against me as a person. But I mean, I should have written that guy a check right there, because the information that I gathered from getting that feedback helped me reduce my turnover from 50% to having a retention rate of over 95%, because I had someone give me feedback. So if you don't know what you're bad at, if you really can't do that self-reflection, get people that know you, people who have worked with you, and I'm sure that they will tell you.
Awesome. Yeah, and it's not taking it personally. It's about, not letting your feelings get hurt, that this is all part of the growth process.
It really is. I mean, you never want to be in the situation, I'm the boss, everything I say goes, everything that I touch turns to gold. Life just isn't like that. The feedback that you get, I mean, some of the best feedback or the ideas that have made me the most money or that have reduced the most costs came from other people. And that's because I create an atmosphere where feedback and ideas are welcome. And I don't work with people that take feedback personally.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Let me see. I don't think, so Stephanie is in the other room here, and she's engaging and saying hi to all the people. I don't think we have any questions yet in the queue. I think they're just ready for more, my friend.
Cool. So step 2, once you figured out what you want to take off your plate, you got to figure out what your perfect person looks like. Because even if you use a service like FreeUp, where we're going to match people up with you, if you don't know what you look like, or what you're looking for, I promise you that we don't know what you're looking for. And that could be, hey, do I want someone US or non-US? Do I need someone internally or remote? Do I need them to be able to work weekends? How many hours a week? Is it more project-based? Is it full-time? Do they have to be able to speak voice on the phone, or is everything through text? What kind of personality do I want to work with? Really defining everything about what your perfect person looks like. Because even if you just think of the culture, if you're running a business where the culture is really cutthroat, and there are a lot of people out there that run very successful businesses with a cutthroat culture, you don't want to hire someone warm and fuzzy. That's not going to turn out too well for you.
Right.
So you really want to define that person. And it's a lot easier to find what you're looking for if you know what you're looking for. So that's really step 2. Step 3 is the actual interview. So you posted jobs, you've gone on a site, you've decided to put in a request with FreeUp. And this is one of the things that I realized way back in the day. Too many people interview just for skill. They look at someone's resume, their references, their background. Oh my God, this guy has 10 years of experience in marketing. And then they hire this guy and it blows up in their face and they wonder, how could that ever happen? This person was so talented. And that's because they're just focusing on skill. I like to focus on not only skill, but on attitude and communication, just as even as it's skill. So with attitude, I want people who love what they do, that are really passionate about it. I hate bookkeeping. I'm sure you don't like bookkeeping either. Not many entrepreneurs do. But if I hire someone to do my bookkeeping, they have to love bookkeeping as much as I love being an entrepreneur. Those are the type of people that I surround myself with. If someone is just in it for the paycheck, if they're not going to care about me or my clients, if they're not going to take it seriously and they're not passionate about it, they don't come in with a smile on their face every day, or they let personal issues interfere with work, I don't want to work with those people. It's just going to waste my time and energy down the line. And overall, they're not going to be happy and it leads to turnover.
And it also becomes a reflection throughout your business. When you don't have somebody who's really bought into the vision, the purpose, and what you're serving in the company, whether it's through doing marketing or accounting, whatever that is, they got to be connected passionately to the goal of the company.
Absolutely. I mean, we know bad attitude, it's like a cancer. It spreads throughout your company. It affects everyone. I mean, it can cost you a lot of money. You have a team of 10 people. You had one person with a bad attitude and it can bring the whole team down. I've seen it collapse teams. Next is communication. And even if someone's sitting right next to you, communication is very important. Never mind if they're across the US or across the world. And I don't care how talented that person is skill-wise or what their attitude is, communication is the most important. Now, with communication, obviously they have to speak English or your language at a high level, but that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. They have to be able to hit goals, hit estimates, be able to keep you updated at all times where you don't wonder, hey, what's this person doing? Or, hey, why did this person do it this way? There has to be that constant communication. And that's why with FreeUp, we get hundreds of applicants every week. I think last week we got 1,000 applicants of freelancers all around the world. We vet them for skill, attitude, and communication, and we reject 99 out of every 100 of them, taking the top 1% and letting them in. So we take this stuff very seriously, and we turn away a lot of really talented people because we don't feel like they can fit the attitude or the communication. And just a funny example of that, we've had people apply and they don't get in, and then they'll write a post on Facebook, like blasting me or FreeUp. And it just kind of proves the point. Okay, like if you're the kind of person that the second something doesn't go your way, that you freak out and yell and scream, then yeah, my team did a pretty good job vetting you for attitude.
I love that. See, we were right about you. We should have hired you.
Exactly.
Great.
So if you do use a service like FreeUp where we are vetting for those three things, what you should really be focused on is, are they the best fit for me? Or for you? Because even the best virtual assistants, the best freelancers in the world aren't the best fit for every single client in the world. So you should be really focused on, hey, like, is this person going to fit with me, with my company, with my team? Do they have that right attitude for us, the right culture, the right skill set, whatever it is? So that's really step 3. So step 1, you define what you want to take off your plate, what you want to hire for. Step 2, figure out that perfect person. Step 3, interview them, make sure they're the perfect person for you. And then when you hire them, everyone forgets step 4. And step 4 is setting expectations right from the beginning and making them as black and white as you possibly can. The last thing you want to do is get on a phone call with someone after you hire them, go over everything that you want done, and then in 2 months, you guys are they didn't do what you wanted, and you guys are going back and forth, and it just turns into a he said, she said, because neither of you wrote down anything, and the expectations are just not there. And we have if you go to the FreeUp blog, we have a free client expectations document that you can fill out and get on the same page right from the beginning. And that saves you so much time, energy, money down the line, where you can just hand someone a document and say, hey, these are my pet peeves. Here's how we communicate. Here's who you go to in the company for these different things. This is what's expected in your job or your project. And you can give them a chance to ask questions. You can have a little meeting with them. And what I do is I give them a chance to back out. I mean, I have incredibly high expectations, and I know that, and I only want to surround myself with people with high expectations. So if they read my expectations and they're not 100% sure that they can do it, I would much rather that they tell me, hey, I'm not the right fit, and I go back to the drawing board than me finding out 3 months later and having to go back to the drawing board.
Wow. I have a question.
Yeah.
So with working with FreeUp, and I know we're going to get into this in a minute. So as we bring on a virtual assistant into our company, a freelancer, whatever that is, do the client expectation sheet before you say yes to working together is what I'm hearing.
I'll usually hire and then set the expectation, because the hiring is non-committal. If I hire someone for a 2-hour test and they don't work out, I'll let them go. Just like if I hire them, I set the expectations. But you can do it either way. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't change things in the big scheme of things.
All right, good. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So step 5, we kind of already touched upon, and that's the feedback loop, which is incredibly important. A lot of people expect to hire a freelancer, hire whoever a remote worker, virtual assistant, and you get 100% of what you expect on day one with no feedback, no communication. And that's not necessarily realistic. And they might do 92% of what you want. And that's fantastic. That's a good stop. Someone's blowing up my Facebook. I will shut that down. And so when you're hiring these people, you have to start a feedback loop right from the beginning. Let's say you're hiring someone to take over emails, which is one of my favorite things to take off my plate. I'll have them review my inbox. I'll give them drafts of everything, that all these canned responses. Hey, in this situation, you do this. In this situation, you do this. Then I'll have them create drafts based on those canned responses, and you have to customize them a little bit. And then I give feedback, and then I have them do it again. And then I give feedback, and I have them do it again. And within sometimes a few days, sometimes a week, I get them to where I want them to be. But I don't just hand them a project and say, go, talk to me in 3 weeks. That's not going to work out for you. You've got to start that feedback loop.
Especially in the beginning, as you're getting to know each other. And, the email is, the bane of so many people's existence. And I'll be the first to admit, in my head, I'm like, I can't turn my email over. I have to answer everything. So help me. There's the other thing. It's about letting go of control. So I'm just being real, everybody. Just help me, Nate.
Yeah. So I get hundreds of emails every day, and I have people that monitor my email throughout the day. I have people that monitor overnight. Same thing with Skype. I probably get 3,000 Skype messages a day, and I have people that monitor my Skype when I'm on a podcast, when I'm here, sleeping, whatever it is. So it's all about coming up with that tree of, hey, these are most common emails I get from a partner, from a client, from a freelancer, whatever it is. And then, hey, these are the most common situations. Maybe it's a return in your business, or a complaint, or, hey, where's my tracking number, or whatever makes sense for your business. And you come up with a tree, and you're not gonna be able to think of every little thing, but you can get the basic one down.
Yeah, that's good.
As more emails come in, you can kind of add to that tree. And there's going to be things where you're working with them where a new situation pops up, and you treat it as a lesson. Hey, this is what you do in this situation. And for those of you out there who are scared of giving away your emails, one of the most important steps to that is I come up with a list of, these are the emails that you do not respond to for any reason. And I make it very, very clear. So if I have a VIP client who spends hundreds of thousands of dollars with me every year, I don't want to risk that freelancer messaging them until maybe I've worked with them for 6 months or whatever it is, so they know what that is. Or I put them in a situation where if they don't know the answer, they just be honest. They say, hey, we got your message. I'm sorry you had that experience. Or, hey, I heard what you said. Nate's sleeping right now. He'll be back at 7 a.m. I'll make sure he gets this. And boom, it's on my desk when I wake up. So there are alternatives where you don't need to just pass over your inbox and never look at it.
All right, that was good. Thank you for the tip and the calmness.
So one last thing on the feedback loop, we jumped a little bit around. The feedback loop goes both ways. If you've never worked with a remote person before, let's say you're hiring someone from the Philippines, ask for feedback. Say, hey, this is my first time working with someone in the Philippines. What could I do to communicate better? What could I do to get a better result? What could I do to make our interactions better for you? And again, you don't need to implement every little thing, but it'll give you tips that you can continue to adjust your methods to get what you want. I remember when I was dealing with people in the Philippines for the first time, I write very brief, direct to the point emails because that's just the kind of person I am. And it turns out that they were taking them very personally in the wrong way. And So all I had to do was slightly tweak the way I was writing my emails. It didn't really take me any more time. But again, my turnover I guess my retention rate went up and people wanted to work with me more and I built better relationships. And I would never have known that unless I'd asked for that feedback.
Right. How can I make it better?
So yeah, that's my 5-step process. It's the same process I use every week. I just hired someone this morning doing the exact same process, figuring out what I want to take off my plate, what that perfect person looks like, interview them, figure out they're the right fit for you, set those expectations right from the beginning, and then lastly, start that feedback loop and keep it going.
Love it. Love it. So let's go ahead and share how they can get started. And I think you set up a special deal for our community to make it easy. So why don't you talk about that? And then I've got some questions, but let's give that out first.
Sure. So I built FreeUp based on my own hiring needs. I mean, you go to Fiverr, Upwork, whatever it is, you post a job, get 100 applicants, interview them one by one, and it just takes forever. And I always wanted a faster way. And when I couldn't find that, I built it myself. And that's what FreeUp is. We get hundreds of applicants every week, take the top 1%, like we talked about, let them in, and then make them available to clients rapid fire. There's no sign-up fee, there's no monthly fee, there's no minimums, there's no obligation. It's in our best interest to get you people you actually like that help you grow your business. I'm pretty easy to contact, whether it's social media, Skype, or email. And if I'm not, my team's there all the time. We have 24/7 support. So if you have even the smallest need, we're there to help. And then lastly, we have a no turnover guarantee. So freelancers in my network rarely quit. If they do for any reason, because it is real life, we cover all replacement costs and get you a new person right away. So you never take a step backwards. So that's really what we're all about, the pre-vetting, the speed, the customer service, the protection. And anyone that signs up and mentions this webinar, we're going to do a $50 credit. I think we might have said 25, but let's make it 50 for anyone that signs up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just make sure you use the link freeup.com/WPN. And my calendar is also at the top of freeup.com. If you want to book a time with me, I am on vacation Thursday through Sunday, so that's why those days are booked off. But I'm more than happy to meet with you about your business and help you in any way I can.
Awesome. Awesome. And then Stephanie, if you would go ahead and put the information, the link is freeup, that's 3es.com/WPN. And that's a special page. You'll see the promo code there. And if it says 25, you're going to get a $50 credit. So thank you for that. Sprite says, awesome. Great webinar. Good stuff. Good stuff. So here's a couple of my questions. You talk about US and then you also talk about international. Do you have it? Like, how do we know which to pick?
Sure. So we're about 40% US, 40% Philippines, and 20% scattered. It really just depends on your situation. So there's pros and cons to everything. The pro to hiring non-US is usually they're cheaper, not always, but usually. The con is there's going to be some culture differences, some background differences. If you have, maybe you're selling a product that is very specific to US culture, maybe you run into issues, or maybe you have broken down the tasks enough where you won't. I mean, if you're really unsure and you can't figure it out, one, you can talk to me on the phone and I'm happy to help you for your situation. But two, why not meet both? Or why not hire a non-US, try them out for a little while. Worst case scenario, you maybe lose a little money, but I'm happy to credit you back anyway. And you can always pay more and upgrade to US. That's not going anywhere. So it's in your best interest to take what I consider low risk, high reward situations, try out someone non-US. If it works out, great. You've saved money. You have someone long-term. If it doesn't, then you scrap it and you move right back to US where you started.
Yeah. Gail shares that she had a bad experience with another firm that was doing VAs from the Philippines. And I happened to, I know, right? It happens. And I think one of the things that I've learned from you and spoken with other companies, you know, Shannon, you've worked with, CEO Space works with you and your teams, your vetting process and your guarantee to make it right. So if this was, you know, one of your freelancers from the Philippines and Gail had a bad experience, you would do what you could to help her.
Absolutely. I mean, we have instant support. We're not really interested in making a quick buck off you. We want to make sure that you get people you like, and we want to help you long term. And if you run into any issues, we want to know about it. We might offer some advice on how to fix it, or if it absolutely is the freelancer's fault and and whatever, then we're going to refund you or give you credit and get you some free hours of someone else. I mean, we have a lot of really talented freelancers, and I mean, we built close to 12,000 hours last week, and I'm able to take client phone calls and be on webinars and podcasts. And the reason for that is I spend very little time dealing with freelancer issues. Now, these are real people. With real people, stuff happens here and there, usually small. And from my side, the only thing I can do is make it right quickly, and everyone moves forward.
Awesome. So do you have experts so I'm thinking of a couple of areas where my clients get stuck, and I hear people in our community. So help with the email, Infusionsoft or Aweber Entrepreneur. Do you have like experts in all those different autoresponders?
Yeah, so we have freelancers from $5 to $75 an hour. I put in a link, freeup.com/pricing. We have over 100 skill sets that you can view, and we do a pretty good job putting in ballpark pricing there. A great way to think about it, to visualize it, is you've got basic level, mid-level, and expert level freelancers. So basic level, $5 to $10 an hour, non-US. They have years of experience because we're not a marketplace for newbies, but they're there to follow your systems, your processes. If you don't have those, you might struggle with those lower level freelancers. The mid-level people are more specialists, $10 to $30 an hour, US or non-US. Maybe they build websites, maybe they do bookkeeping or graphic design or writing. You're not hiring them to teach them how to write. They know how to do that. And you're not hiring them to consult with you either. They're doers. They do the same thing 8 to 10 hours a day. And then you got the experts at $25 to $75 an hour. They can consult with you, audit your business, audit parts of your business, execute high-level game plans, project manage, help create systems and processes for the basic level workers. So you just have to figure out, where am I in that hiring process? We talked about turning weaknesses into strengths, and a lot of times that's hiring experts, or it could be more project-based, which would be more the mid-level, or the following the process and getting out of day-to-day, which is more the basic level.
Awesome. And Allison asked, do they have web designers? And yes, you do.
Yep.
And that'll be either in the mid-range or the expert range, I would guess. You probably have some in both categories.
Yeah, we probably have some basic level ones too. It just depends how complex or what you're trying to do.
Okay. Awesome. All right, good. Any other questions? And remember, go to the link, freeup.com/WPN to get your $50 credit. And it's 3 E's because we want to be really free. I love it. Any other questions coming in for us to support you in growing your business and getting free? I mean, what a great name of your company too.
Yeah, I mean, it's all based on real life experience. I kind of know the power of hiring. It's the best way to take your business to the next level. And I've had clients, no joke, that have had no idea what they're doing. They built an agency out of nothing, doing either marketing or Amazon or whatever it is, and they just hired talented people, and they were able to manage them and hire well and execute them and grow their business. And if they can do that, then the people that actually know what they're doing and have a passion for their business and what they're doing can definitely do it.
I love it. I love it. All right. We got, do they handle, so here's an interesting question. Do you handle the people that they hire, or does it just become, so I go to freeup.com, I find my person, and then it's the two of us? Are you involved in that at all, or no?
So we introduce you to the freelancer, and the relationship is between you and them. So we have a very strict confidentiality in our terms of use. So the freelancer can't even share with us like what they're doing for you or any part of your business. It's all between you and them. We're there if you need anything or you want advice or run into any issues, but you're dealing directly with them. And once they're on your account, let's say that you hire a VA for data entry work, and you hire her and it turns out she can do social media, and you want to use her for social media. You don't have to put in a new request or come to us. You can just go right to her and increase the workload or figure out that between you guys.
All right, and we pay you and you pay them.
Yeah, so our billing period is Wednesday to Tuesday. We charge you every Thursday. So if Bob is $10 an hour and he works 2 hours, you get charged $20 on Thursday. And then you have a week to dispute anything before we pay the freelancer the following Thursday.
Oh, very good. That's a nice little safeguard system you got built in there. Excellent. Let's see. And if there's a problem, like they're too slow or they're not getting it done well, that's when we come to you if they can't fix it.
And we have stuff in place. So all freelancers are required to respond within 1 business day at all times. So if they ever don't, you can come to us. So you should never be chasing someone down for a week or anything like that. Obviously, we can't read minds, so we need to know about it. But we're there to really help you and make sure that you have a good experience.
Awesome. And then someone just texted me. It's Free Up with 3 E's, freeup.com/WPN.
Yep.
So try that and then ping me back and let me know that it worked, because it worked for me before.
There's no monthly fee. There's no sign up fee. If you use someone for 1 week and you don't use them the next week, you don't get billed. You just pay for the hours you use, or you can agree to fixed prices with people if you want to. That's how it works.
Awesome. Good. I clicked the link and got in, no problem. Yeah, I think the issue was 2 E's instead of 3, which I did many times. No monthly fee. Ann loves all the safeguards you have in place. Any other questions? Let's see here. She's good with the extra E. All right, we're rocking it.
You got some questions here. So
okay, good.
Besides emails, you offer outsourced professionals. I'm not sure what you mean by outsourced professionals, but if you go to freeup.com/pricing, everything from data entry to Excel to lead generation to sourcing, I mean, you name it, we have it. As long as it's not illegal or we don't do anything like fake reviews or anything like that, we have it. Bookkeepers for trust and estate accountings. So I don't know every single industry. Like sometimes we get requests, like I need a Facebook ad expert who specializes in dog toys for puppies under the age of like whatever. Like we don't get like that specific, but we probably do have it. And we do have very talented bookkeepers and accountants in the network. And the cool thing about us is if there is anything very specific to what you need and we don't have it, we'll be honest with you if we can't fill it within a day. And with your permission, we'll recruit for it free of charge. And if we find someone, they go through the exact same vetting process, you get first dibs at them, no pressure, no obligation to hire them. If you want them, great. If not, we add them to the network and offer them to other clients.
Awesome.
Capabilities of research. So I actually have a good lead generation.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
You guys want to hear my secret of how I've done so well in lead generation?
Yes.
What's the best way for me to paste something really long into this?
Put it in the chat box if you can.
Yeah, it won't let me. It says it's too big. Did you tag me in the Facebook Live? Because I can post it in Facebook.
I think so. Sprite, yes, I will go ahead and do it. I'll post it in the Awakening Giants group. Why don't you send?
I got it. I'm posting it. I'm posting as a comment there.
Oh, there you go.
Cool. So research is a very generic term, right? It's kind of like project manager. It can mean a million different things. So with that, I posted how we do lead generation, and research is the exact same thing. You come up with a system, you get someone, and you tweak it, and you do split testing, and you continue to adjust it. So I posted, I think it's 8 steps in there that I use. I even put the name of a pretty inexpensive app that I use. I have no affiliate with them. I just love using them. And you guys can use that. And if you have any questions about how you do it for your business, feel free to book a time with me, and I'm more than happy to go through it with you.
And you posted that on your timeline?
I posted it. I thought I posted it on the Facebook Live. It should be there.
Yeah, everybody share this video because if you find this awesome, share it. That's all the feedback I'm getting from everybody here. This is awesome. This is great. Please tell me this. Da, 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 da.
Did you guys see it when I posted on Facebook or no? I can Skype it to you, and I'll message you on Facebook with it, and you can
message me on Facebook, and then I'll add it back in because I'm not
weird. Cool. Someone said if you want to freelance, you can apply right on the website. I don't handle that team. Go to freeup.com at the right at the top. It says apply to be a freelancer. Fill out an application, and our awesome freelancer success team will help you out there. We're always looking for talented people.
So the other thing I got to tell you, I love what you talked about at the top of the call on the great opportunity of employment that it's not employment, but you're giving people jobs and making it easy. Like what a great matchmaker this is. And somebody who's a great bookkeeper that does go work at a company, you're at the mercy. If you get dropped like that with being a freelancer, this gives you, several different ways. You don't have to be reliant on just one place for your paycheck to come from.
Yeah, we paid out over $3 million for freelancers last year, and we have a lot of people who are both clients and freelancers, and who actually build their business, offering their services on the marketplace, and then hire freelancers as their businesses grow. So,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
yeah, brilliant.
Someone posted LinkedIn, please. I'm not sure what that meant, so I just posted my LinkedIn along with some other links there. And what differentiates from Fiverr is anyone can create a Fiverr account with us. We reject 99 out of every 100 applicants. You get access to the top 1% with 24/7 support and the no turnover guarantee.
Awesome. All right, let's see. I think I got some other questions.
We do have VAs in Spanish.
Okay. If I'm looking, please explain the capabilities, differentiates from fiber. Okay, we got all of that. We got the links in there. I think we are well loaded up with lots of places to go, right?
I think so. And if anyone has other questions, again, my calendar right at the top of freeup.com with 3 E's. You can create a free account. You can play around with it. You don't even have to add a payment method until you're ready to hire someone. We're really there to make sure you have a great experience.
Awesome. Thank you. Hey, would you come and play with us in June at our Level Up?
Didn't we schedule that? I thought
We
we did.
I was just letting everybody know, join us in Fort Lauderdale for the Level Up workshop for June 7th, 8th, and 9th. Nathan is going to be with us on the 7th. We'll review these things and go a little bit deeper. So I'm so glad you're coming out to play with us in person.
Of course. So I posted my calendar. It is a little busy just because I have 2 conferences coming up and I have vacation, but there are spots. And if not, I post on my cell phone, if you call my phone and I don't pick up, I will call you back if you can't find a spot that works for you. But try to find a spot first. If not, feel free to give me a call. No reason to delay. And if you go to freeup.com, my business partner's calendar is there too, and he has more availability, especially when I'm on vacation. So whatever we can do to help you guys. And I really appreciate all you guys watching, and thanks for having me, Nancy.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. Thanks everybody for watching. Get out there and get freed up. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.